Hello, this is David with TaxSlayer Pro, and in this session we're going to talk a little bit more about the Affordable Care Act and how to enter some client scenarios into the TaxSlayer Pro software. The regulations in the Affordable Care Act are now an integral part of our 2014 tax returns. In our last session, we talked a bit about the Affordable Care Act and how it's going to relate to the upcoming tax filing season. Well, that tax filing season is here. The role of the IRS is going to be especially important to the Affordable Care Act this year. The upcoming filing season will be the first for two major components of the healthcare law, the premium tax credit and the individual mandate. Today, we're going to look at three Affordable Care Act client scenarios. Along with these scenarios, we're going to see how each one is entered into your TaxSlayer software. The IRS has released the ACA tax credit forms, and we're all scared. Before this tax filing season, the state and federal insurance exchanges will send taxpayers details about their health plans and benefits or exemptions in time for them to file a tax return. If any of that information gets delayed or is incorrect, tax refunds could be delayed. Your client's 2014 tax return will include new forms that specifically relate to the Affordable Health Care Act. At this point, the new forms look very daunting for taxpayers and preparers alike. The complexity level of a tax return is certainly going to go up for a significant group of moderate to low-income taxpayers, whether they get insurance through the marketplace or not. Before they can file a tax return, individuals will have to get documents from their state or federal-run exchange about the plan that they bought and any subsidies that they might receive. Or, if they're covered through an employer, they'll want to provide proof of that. If they qualify for an exemption from having coverage, they'll have to send that information to the IRS as well. A taxpayer will receive Form 1095-A if he or she enrolled in health insurance coverage through the health insurance marketplace, which is a federal or state exchange. This Form 1095-A provides information needed to complete Form 8962, which is the premium tax credit. Exchange enrollees won't be able to file their tax returns until the exchange sends them the new Form 1095-A. This exchange statement hopefully will be sent to the taxpayer by January the 31st. There are some concerns that the forms might be late, especially in states who have struggling exchanges. Only time will tell. As we just said, the taxpayer will receive Form 1095-A from the marketplace. The taxpayer must complete Form 8962 and then file it with his or her tax return in order to claim the premium tax credit, or if he or she received premium assistance through advanced credit payments. Form 1095-B provides information proving that the taxpayer, the spouse, and dependents had qualifying health coverage. This is often referred to as minimum essential coverage for some or all months during the year. This form will be issued by providers of minimum essential coverage such as Blue Cross Blue Shield, Humana, and so forth, and the form is voluntary for tax year 2015. The new Form 1095-C includes information about the health coverage that's offered to a taxpayer by his or her employer. Similar to the 1095-B, employers are not required to provide this form for 2014, but may do so voluntarily. Individual mandate exemptions will be claimed on the new Form 8965. There's some new lines for the 1040 form. Line 46 reports any advanced premium tax credit repayment from Form 8962. Other new lines on the 1040 Line 61 incorporates the individual mandate and a checkbox for full year coverage. Other new lines on the 1040. Line 69 reports a premium tax credit from Form 8962. And now let's take a look at how the TaxSlayer software handles these Affordable Care Act tax scenarios. Most preparers are going to have three different scenarios when preparing tax returns that involve the Affordable Care Act. First, the taxpayer, the spouse, and the dependents all have health care coverage through an employer or self-purchased health coverage through Medicare, Medicaid, or through the VA. The second scenario, the taxpayer, the spouse, and dependents have health care coverage through a health insurance marketplace or exchange. The third scenario, the taxpayer, the spouse, and the dependents have no health coverage or insurance. In the first scenario, the taxpayer, the spouse, and dependents all have health care coverage through an employer, self-purchased health care coverage, or health care coverage through Medicare, Medicaid, or through the VA. The taxpayer may receive a 1095-B or a 1095-C. And remember, those two forms are voluntary for 2014 for the 2015 tax filing season. The TaxSlayer software will ask if the taxpayer had minimum essential health care coverage. The question below will appear once you've completed the personal and dependent information in the program. Did you have minimum essential health care coverage for yourself, your spouse if filing jointly, and anyone you could or did claim as a dependent for every month of 2014? In this first scenario, we would answer yes to this question. The question below will appear next. Did you, your spouse, or a dependent enroll in health insurance through the marketplace or the exchange? We would answer no to this question. Line 61 on the 1040 will now be marked for full year coverage. In our second scenario, the taxpayer, the spouse, and dependents have health care coverage through a health insurance marketplace or exchange. The taxpayer will receive Form 1095-A, hopefully around January the 31st, from the marketplace. The amounts paid to the marketplace may need to be reported on Form 8962. Again, in this second scenario, the taxpayer is going to receive Form 1095-A if he or she enrolled in health insurance coverage through the health insurance marketplace, which is a federal or state exchange such as healthcare.gov. This Form 1095-A provides information which is needed to complete Form 8962, the premium tax credit. The taxpayer has to complete Form 8962 and file it with his or her tax return in order to claim the premium tax credit. He would also file this form if he or she received premium assistance through advance credit payments. Now keep in mind, the taxpayer only receives the premium tax credit if he or she or the family received their health care through a marketplace or exchange, such as healthcare.gov. The question below will appear once you've completed the personal and dependent information in the program. Did you have minimum essential health care coverage for yourself, your spouse, and anyone else you could or did claim as a dependent? We would answer yes to this question. The question below will appear next. Did you, your spouse, or dependent enroll in health insurance through the marketplace? We would answer yes to this question. If Form 8962 is required, you can access it in the Payments, Estimates, and EIC TaxSlayer menu. Menu option number 21, the Premium Tax Credit, relates to Form 8962. You would enter the 1095A amounts on menu option number 4 in the 8962 menu. After the 1095A amounts are entered on Form 8962, the software is going to calculate one of the following. There will either be no change in the tax amount, there'll be a net premium credit, or excess advance premium tax repayment. Form 1040, line 69, reports a premium tax credit from Form 8962. Or Form 1040, line 46, reports any advanced premium tax credit repayment from Form 8962. In our third and final scenario, we're going to assume that the taxpayer, the spouse, and dependents have no health care coverage or insurance. The taxpayer is going to pay a shared responsibility payment or a tax penalty, and the tax is calculated on the Shared Responsibility Payment Worksheet. The penalty carries from the worksheet to the 1040 form. Or the taxpayer, the spouse, and dependents may qualify for a coverage exemption, which is indicated on Form 8965. The question below will appear once you've completed the personal and dependent information within the program. Did you have minimum essential health care coverage? We would answer no to this question. The question below will appear next. Did you, your spouse, or dependent enroll in health insurance through the marketplace? No. The taxpayer reports a penalty, and the penalty is calculated automatically by the software on the Shared Responsibility Payment Worksheet. Here's an example of a completed Shared Responsibility Payment Worksheet, what it might look like. The penalty then carries from the worksheet to line 61 of the 1040. If the taxpayer, the spouse, or dependent qualify for a coverage exemption, we're going to enter this information on Form 8965, which is found in the Other Taxes menu. Either Part 1, a marketplace granted exemption, or Part 3, a coverage exemption, will be indicated on the Form 8965 menu. If nothing else, the Affordable Care Act provisions are going to give the tax preparation business a big boost this year. Taxpayers who may have never filed anything more complex than a 1040-EZ are going to find themselves faced with advanced premium tax credit statements from the federal or state exchanges, as well as other tax-related documents from employer-sponsored health plans. We encourage you to stay informed. Under our system of government, laws are certainly not written in stone. Congress can modify or repeal them. The President can refuse to enforce them. Courts can strike them down. Election results can change the nature and the implementation of laws. Like any other law, after its enactment, the ACA exists in a very fluid state. It's likely that new developments will cause the law to mutate into something much different from what it is today.